everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Street Smart for the Sega Genesis, published by Treco and ported over from the lesser-known SNK arcade game. Street Smart is an interesting game that no one really played. When I was a kid, our local grocery store used to have a couple of arcade cabinets in it near the checkout. They always had two games up there, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Smart. Obviously, you can only play TMNT a certain number of times as a kid before getting bored with it, so after a while, my brother and I started playing Street Smart. What made Street Smart stand out was that it was a fighter where two players could fight together against two opponents. After you would win the fights, the knocked out opponent would be transported off the screen by an ambulance and you would go on to the next fight. It was a lot of fun, and we were both excited when we learned that the game would be coming to the Sega Genesis. The Genesis version differs from the arcade version in a lot of ways. Most notably is the exclusion of the famous two-player mode from the arcade game. Not that it wasn't two players still, just not at the same time. Both players would alternate and take turns fighting each set of opponents. This was a pretty major letdown for us at the time, but the Sega version introduced some other new features that were pretty awesome and exclusive to the home version. One such feature was the betting mode, where before each fight you could bet on the outcome of the next one. You could even bet against yourself and take a dive in the next fight in order to reap the cash prize. The money you earn during the game eventually has an effect on the ending you get. If you're broke, you'll see your character sitting in an alley homeless, and if you finish the game wealthy, you'll be taking off in an expensive sports car complete with a hot blonde. Another unique feature of the home version was the level up system. After each fight, you could place stat points into certain attributes that would carry over into your next fight. You could level up your life bar, strength, or even defense. The goal of Street Smart is to earn respect, money, and women. With every fight won, you're then treated to an image of your fighter with a new girl. You'll battle your way across the USA until you beat all of the country's best fighters. The stars of the game are Karate Man and the Wrestler, assigned to Player 1 and Player 2, respectively. The game uses a 3-button control scheme and works as follows: 1 button for punching, 1 for kicking, and 1 for jumping. Hitting all three together activates your character's special move, but be careful, as each time you do it, you'll lose a precious chunk of your life bar. The graphics in Street Smart are pretty good, and the characters are fairly detailed and animate simply, but well. The backgrounds are rife with spectators, and they cheer when you deliver hits and knockouts. Some of the cool standout backgrounds in the game are the White House and the glass-bottom boat stage at the very end of the game. Sound effects are pretty simple and nothing to really note, but the music here is great. There are some pretty classic tunes here that'll get stuck in your head after a playthrough. The song that plays at the end credits is super catchy, and I can't help but hum along to it whenever I hear it. Street Smart is really short. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes to finish the whole game, and there really isn't that much of a reason to keep playing through it once you've seen both endings. It's fun, sure, but it does get old. I'd probably play back through the game maybe once or twice a year just to hear the kick-ass soundtrack, but that's about it. The hit detection in this game is really weird. Sometimes you can just attack your opponent directly, and for some reason or another it just will not seem to connect. It's something that you do get used to, but it doesn't ever stop being annoying. Street Smart is a pretty fun, but really short game that can be a little frustrating to play because of its strange hitting momentum and detection. Sure, it's a bummer that the two-player mode from the arcade is gone, but it's still a good enough game to have fun playing through. I recommend Street Smart to any Genesis owner who's a fan of beat-em-ups or fighting games. It's very nostalgic for me personally, so I can't guarantee that you'll like it as much as I do. And that's going to wrap it up for me here. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. And until next time, stay classic.